Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to talk about a reference that I think is worthwhile and kind of in context with the last video. I went through 12 reasons why businesses fail. And one of the best references I've seen around that is this book, The E-Myth Revisited, by Michael Gerber. I will attach a picture of that as the thumbnail so you can see what that is. This book is one that I've referenced several times in the past when speaking with folks around businesses and what can go wrong. The last video really went into what went wrong or what could go wrong, and I kind of went into depth there. But this book, I just want to call out what it highlights and why it's a good reference. So once you figure out what's going wrong, it talks here about building a small business that works, and it outlines several things that need to be done, which I'll probably take these subject by subject in further videos just to kind of explain the proper planning that would go into business development. So a couple of those things, it talks about the business development process and what that looks like, your business development program, which actually shows the steps that you plan on taking, what you expect to sustain, and a 30, 60, 90-day plan on how you do those things. Your primary aim, the primary target of the business, that's extremely important to know that starting out. Now, you can definitely change that vision and augment as necessary, but that is one of the focuses that needs to be known so you can come up with a deliberate objective, which is what we talked about in past videos as well. Your strategic objective, how you plan to come up with your strategy, what that looks like, and how you expect that to change over time, 12 to 24 to 36 months is typically how you look at that. Sometimes you can do quarter by quarter, but typically when you start looking at quarterly numerical values and quarterly metrics, you want to have a year or two's data so you can understand seasonality and understand how things fluctuate throughout the year. So strategically, it's talking more about timelines and how you're building the business and what your expectation is. Next after that would be organizational strategy. So people talk about strategy a lot from an organizational standpoint. Growth is what comes into that, scaling around that expectation, how your strategy takes that in mind. Your management strategy, your people strategy, those two things do work hand in hand, but overall, leadership is imperative and selecting the proper team. I've gone into that in some other videos before. So this goes into that in a little more detail. It gives you some suggestions and some case studies, which is why I recommend some of these books because they have specific case studies in it. The last three that it mentions is market strategy, system strategy, and how you handle the customer format. So we've talked about some of these things in other videos. I will do different videos on each one of these subjects probably in the future because each one of these strategies has detail that's necessary. But what's interesting on the book, it talks about all these subjects, but then it has, I thought, interesting, a questionnaire at the back. It's talking about key frustrations that businesses have, and I'll read those out to you to let you know what that is. What most businesses' frustrations look like are what it represents here. One being not enough profit, two being not enough personal income, three being can't find good people. That's a huge agitation for a lot of businesses. It's difficult. The recruitment process and sustainability process is hard. It costs a lot of money, and then when you hire those folks, then they sometimes don't work out because of their personal choices, your personal choices, or maybe it's not a good fit. So that is definitely something that stands out. Can't develop capable managers. That's one of the things that a lot of big businesses wrestle with is you'll have people that you have expectations of management and leadership about, and they don't have those leadership principles that allow them to be good managers. You lead people, you manage process, you manage product. So that's what a lot of companies run into. Inadequate cash flow, not enough sales or customers. Business depends too much upon me, being that proprietor. I don't have enough time, inconsistent operational performance, expanding too rapidly. I need more working capital. A lot of these subjects were things that I touched in a previous video, and I will plan to go into some of these a little bit longer in future videos. But this is a book that I would definitely recommend to folks that are thinking about getting into business. The E-Myth Revisited is what it's called. Why most small businesses don't work and what to do about it. It's an excellent reference. I'll put a picture of that as the thumbnail. I mentioned I'd be going over books from time to time. I do plan to do that. This is one that I do reread regularly, not annually, but I do reread it every 2 to 3 years. Contextually, it is the same stuff that I talk to, and the majority of problems that are mentioned in here are problems that entrepreneurial businesses have regularly. So some of those things we actually discussed in that prior 12 12 count video. So just a short video to mention the book and say, hey, it's good reference. Take a look at it. I hope you guys are doing great. If you like what's here, please subscribe. Please share the channel, and we'll see what is up next. Be good.